morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back, everybody, to this month's, I guess now we were doing a weekly version of this, and now we're doing them once a month. This month's Nitpicks Facebook Live. I'm so glad to be back.
Yeah, I haven't been with you all in quite a while. I don't think I've been on since July, so hi, everybody. Hope you had a good late summer, early fall.
Yeah, it's definitely fall here in Portland.
It's cold. My house is cold. Better times.
Yeah. Well, for anybody who is joining us for the first time today, typically what we've been doing is we've been doing these since we've been working from home, and it's been a fun project. We've done a series of trunk shows like we're doing today, or sneak peeks. We've done some designer interviews, and we've done some Q&As. So the way that this works is if you have questions or comments, please put them in as we're talking, and we'll answer questions as we go, and field questions and do all that. And we'll be sharing links in the comments as well. And then if this is your first time and you want to see past broadcasts, you can find them on our Facebook page, on the video tab, or on our website in the Learn tab, so nitpicks.com, or on our YouTube. So there are many different places you can catch us in all of those. And also, Lee and I are on our weekly or every bi-weekly podcast as well, often. So you can catch us there for even more knitting goodness.
All of our content. We love to talk about knitting.
We do. I mean, we do it all the time, and we talk about it all the time. I miss being in the office so we can talk about it in person, but this is excellent. I love seeing everybody here. Also, we started a Facebook group called Together We Knit, where a lot of our lovely viewers are talking about knitting and sharing projects and asking questions. And it's a really great community that I love to eavesdrop on and comment every once in a while on too. Yeah. What are we talking about today, Lee?
We have a couple new collections out, so we're mainly going to be talking about a new collection, Serendipity. This is the print book here. So it's a luxury yarn collection. It's all a collection of, I think there's 11 patterns, both garments and accessories. And they all use luxury yarns, which means have alpaca, merino wool, some silk, a little bit of cashmere content, some fancy yarns that feel really good on your skin and are really lovely to knit with. And they, it's fun to hold them in your hand. So all these projects are going to be really enjoyable to knit and play with the yarn as you're knitting it. And then, of course, very enjoyable to wear and bundle up in and be soft and warm and yeah.
Absolutely. And as an extra treat today, we will be giving away 4 ebook copies of this collection to people who comment. So we'll remind you as we go. So please leave a comment or a question. And at the end, I will be emailing or DMing 4 people. So check your inboxes, and we will be sending you an ebook copy of this new collection for your very own. The thing that I really love about luxury yarns is one skein can usually go kind of a long way. So you can get usually an accessory out of it or a few skeins, and it makes a simple pattern super luxurious and special. So you can do some really nice last minute gift knitting in a luxury yarn, and it immediately makes it extra special, even if it didn't take that much more time to make.
Yeah, even just a plain like garter stitch or stockinette project, and a very simple accessory that's like quick to make in a really luxurious yarn is going to be a special gift or a special treat for yourself too. If you're like, and you normally only knit for yourself.
Right, exactly. So let's maybe start in on some projects, and remember, ask questions if you need to as we go, or ask for more detail and we'll try to give it.
Yeah.
The first one I think is the Aster Cardigan. Is it this one, Lee? I think this is the Aster, and it's got a really interesting construction. So it looks very much like a square shape with sleeves in it.
It really is. It's a really fun pattern. It is literally just a giant rectangle with sleeves. So it has this nice slouchy drape
shawl collar, sort of.
Yeah. It looks like like a very luxurious wearable blanket kind of, because you can kind of wrap it around. You could like shawl pin it if you want to, but it, as you plain, it just kind of drapes down, has like a waterfall kind of front. Yeah, it looks really great.
Yeah, and because it's made out of gloss, which is a silk blend, you've got a little bit of a shine to it, and also it will just drape beautifully, so that collar will lay and ruffle down. And it's a really special construction. I think of these as knitter cool, where it just gets my brain working, and really wearable too. I think it's lovely. Yeah, so that's that collection. And then you can see these patterns online. They launched yesterday, so they're brand new. They're all under the new pattern tab if you want to look as we go.
Yeah.
Oh, and then someone's asking about my shawl. This is an Amba O'Brien pattern. It's mosaic knitting. I love her work. It's with the Eco Superwash Alpaca, which we have a garment in as well in this collection. It's super soft and machine washable. It's incredible. And then also Muse is the black, and then Stroll fingering for the edge. So that's a good example of mixing different fingering weight yarns that kind of feel similar in one project. Yeah. Actually, we could just jump to the Eco Superwash wool pattern as well, and that one is the pansy shell. Yeah,
pansy shell. Yeah, so it's like basically a rectangle copy kind of thing. It's a shell, so it's like it has kind of like mini short sleeves that just kind of fall over and wear it.
Right.
It's a really nice lace pattern up the center. They're really
fun. And the back is plain, so it's very easy, quick to make. And it looks like it's like an I-cord edging, so it's a really clean finish, and it's really cozy. I love this Eco Alpaca yarn. It's so soft, not itchy at all, and I've been dyeing with it at home actually, and I'm finding that you can actually put it at a pretty high heat on accident. You're not supposed to, and it doesn't felt at all, so you can very safely machine wash anything that you do in it. It's gorgeous. I would actually recommend doing kiddo knits in it. I think baby knits, because it is so machine washable and it's so soft. It's not aggravating at all. Lovely.
I'll show you a picture of that wearing it so you can kind of
see
it.
It's so classic.
Just so nice. Okay.
And so a lot of these garments are a little bit springy, but they are all really wonderful layering pieces. And because they are they're luxury yarns, even if they're thin, they will still keep you warmer than something like a cotton. So they kind of trap your body heat. So something like this shell would be really great underneath like another cardigan at the office, or even walking around in the fall. So even if they look like light pieces, and they're very wearable, they're still very nice to transition from season to season.
And, I love layering garments that are good for throughout multiple seasons, or whether there's a layer underneath or not, or a layer over the top or not, depending on the weather. It's very versatile.
Yeah, absolutely. So another really lovely piece is the Aspen Mantle. And another really easy construction is just yet another like gorgeous rectangle with a little bit of a lace detail along the edge. And it's in gloss again. No, it's an Andean Treasure, so that's an alpaca yarn. And what you do is you're knitting it, and then you're just leaving this small opening here, and then it makes an offset, like an asymmetrical kind of a wrap.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a picture of it being worn there. It's another just really great layering piece, just like a big blanket that you drape over your whole body.
Right. Do you remember when Snuggies were a thing? I feel like they had a hot moment, and now all I'm looking for is that like super comfortable wearable blanket, and this is absolutely beautiful.
It's fibers instead of polyester.
Right. Something super lovely. And it will make it more timeless. And because this is just a rectangle and it's a heavier weight yarn, so it's not a fingering weight yarn, you could knit it fairly quickly. This would be still a really great gift knit. Like, it's not too late to get started on that for somebody, or for yourself even. A lot of these have made their way into my personal knitting queue for sure. What next? What's a good pattern that you would like to jump to, Lee?
Oh, goodness. Well, I love the cover project. If I was going to make something from this book, I think it would be that cover project.
Me too.
It's called the Teasel Shrug.
I love it. So it's got this lovely batwing shape. And which name is this one?
Teasel Shrug by Sarah.
Yes. And this is in Paragon, which is an absolutely gorgeous yarn. So you can see this is about the center line, and then the sleeve comes out as a very extreme, kind of a batwing triangle shape. But the lace detail on the back is just stunning. And it photographed so beautifully.
Yeah.
And this yarn has a really nice tight twist. So every stitch has a very nice shine to it and a good drape. So again, it's like a lovely layering piece that you could put over. You could wear it to the office or just home, or when brunch becomes more common again, to that as well. I really like flexible layering pieces like this one. And also it's because it's kind of a relaxed fit and a generous shaping. It can fit a lot of different sizes as well. So it doesn't have to be so size specific. I really like, and it's, so this is it folded in half, and you can see the shape here. It's really extreme, but also again, a really simple knit, and the lace panel has a pretty short repeat. And then the other cool portion is along the top of the sleeve, you've got this extra detail as well. Which gives it a nice definition.
It's a really thoughtfully designed pattern too. Up that sleeve, there's like some short row shaping and stuff, so it's not going to like pull in weird with that extreme angle. So it counts for the bottom of the sleeve and the shoulder all being shaped. Really thoughtfully. Yeah,
and there's some really nice eyelet details along the edges. It's a super classic piece, and depending upon the color you knit it in, it could either be like a really big statement, so you could do it in one of the hotter pink colors, or go darker as like just a minimal, very nicely shaped part of your wardrobe for sure.
Yeah.
What next, Lee? What do we want to do next? Oh, and then a quick reminder for anyone joining us now, we're doing a trunk show of our Serendipity collection, which is all luxury yarn-based projects. You could knit them in another blend as well. They don't have to be a luxury yarn. And then at the end, I will be picking 4 people who have commented or asked questions to receive a free ebook copy. I will be DMing them afterwards, so keep an eye on your inboxes if you have commented, and see if you want a copy.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten many questions yet. If you have any questions about anything we've shown you, or luxury
or anything else for yarns,
yarn in general, or knitting in general, or whatever, just pop into those comments.
Let's go to the, so my favorite piece from the collection, I have a deep soft spot for a loft in shawls. A loft is our silk mohair blend, so it's got that really beautiful halo. I see a lot of projects now with this sort of fiber coming back. Sometimes it's held with another yarn, so it gives it that nice kind of halo with a more sturdy yarn. But I really love it in shawls because it's super cozy and super lightweight, and it packs really small. So I really like having these just in my purse or something, so I can take it with me and then be warm, but it folds up into such a small package. And this is the Wisp Wrap, and it's got this really lovely kind of, would you call it a diamond, Lee, or was it like a
it's kind of like hourglass, like wavy, like bubbly kind of. Oh yeah, you can see it well now.
There we go. Yeah, it's a little bit like lattice work.
Yeah, so it's made with like elongated stitches. So it's like barely even a lace pattern. It's just like the stitches are all opened up in a pattern to create these bubbly diamond kind of shapes. So it's
right.
Pretty easy to make. Yeah.
And I love that it just like looks super luxurious no matter how you wrap it.
Oh, that
super
looks
fluffy, super cozy.
So cold. I'm like, oh, I want that around my neck now.
Yeah, it's really airy. It's one of my favorite fibers, and we launched a bunch of new colors this year that are much brighter again. So you could do a very bright pop of color or go subtle. Again, this is a really lovely. I've made my mom several Aloft shawls, and they're the ones that she wears the most. She also wears them camping because they're so warm. Like that's how my mom rolls. She's so funny. But so they're super cozy, lightweight. They pack really well. They're great for traveling if you're traveling. Interesting. So we actually have a question, Lee, that might be up your alley. She's got a question on backward loop cast-ons for the purpose of underarms and top-down patterns. So it's probably where you split for the sleeves and you're putting the body back on. When you divide the sleeves, those backward cast-on stitches should go with the body of the sweater, right? Not staying in the waist yarn for the sleeves.
Yeah, so you're going top down and you're dividing for the sleeves. Generally, you're putting held stitches for the sleeves to do later. And then when you cast on those underarm stitches, those are to join the body around, and then you're going to be working the body from that point down.
Right. So
when you do when you come back to the sleeves later, you're usually going to be picking up stitches into those cast-ons or casting on more stitches, which then you'll seam later.
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're replacing that line, that seam that you get here, you're replacing those stitches you took away to go into the arm and putting them back in the body so that you don't have a slightly smaller body when you join back in again. Absolutely. That's a great question. Oh, we've got another one from Janine. I'm on a hat knitting kick. What is your favorite hat pattern and yarn? I love how hats make quick Christmas gifts. Me too. They're my favorite. Lee, do you have a favorite? You are the queen of hats.
I to design patterns for a living, and hats are my favorite thing to design. So I've probably designed 100 hats. So
I think you have.
But, I love like unusual constructions and stuff to mix it up because a hat is so small. You can try something more experimental, and it's gonna be if it doesn't work out, it's just a hat. And if you don't love it, you might know someone else who loves it to gift it on, right? So hats are a fun way to kind of play with yarn that you want to try or stitch pattern you want to try that you might, you don't want to try it on a sweater. You can try it on a hat to try it out.
Right.
I would encourage you to kind of go outside your comfort zone a bit when it comes to hats, because that's a good place to do that, to step outside the box.
Right. We actually have a series of hats that go up every month right now on the website. And we also have, I believe there are 12 free hat patterns by Kelborn Woolens that are wonderful. They're all lovely. They're free, so you can knit up a bunch of them. And I think it's in a worsted weight yarn. So it's a pretty average hat yarn that is accessible, and you can bust your stash that way. And I tend to knit hats all year round and stash them for Christmas. So it's like my in-between project or my portable project. So if I'm in the car or something, I can take that with me. Some people do socks. I do hats. Speaking of hats, we have a really neat one from this collection. It's in also, I think, Paragon. And it has this beautiful detail in the front, so you can wear it here, so you can have that face framing. And it's just a subtle stitch pattern. And it's in this really bright color. So this is a great example of stepping out of your comfort zone with like a really hot pink. As you can see, Lee, this is maybe more in her comfort zone than mine. But it's a great opportunity to try a new yarn and try a new pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love the construction on that one with it. You just knit this really simple strip, but then you do this cool giant cable to twist it at the end, and then you just join it around and knit the simple crown. So it's a pretty
super simple.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing to make hats a little bit special is I'll take the base yarn, so whatever the pattern calls for, and I'll hold a strand of Aloft with it. So it gives you that halo. It doesn't change your gauge. So something like this, you could add the hot pink Aloft with it, and you get just even softer, even nicer, cozier. And you don't even need a full ball. I think it takes half a ball for a hat or a quarter of a ball because there's so much yardage. So that's a fun trick that I've been doing, is taking a basic hat and holding Aloft with it.
For sure. It's also a fun way to play with color a little bit. I did a hat like that with, I did the black provincial tweed, and then I held actually 2 strands of the really bright green chartreuse Aloft with it. So it has this black undertone, but then it has this light green halo around the whole thing, and it has a really cool color effect too. So that's a fun way to experiment with a color idea that you might, think might look cool. Try it on a hat. Yeah.
And as a quick reminder, we're doing a trunk show for a Serendipity collection. We will be giving away 4 ebook copies at the end to people who have commented or asked a question in the comments. In the meantime, we're taking a quick break for questions, and we're getting quite a few good ones. Someone is asking about shawl pattern recommendations for Muse or Hawthorne. That's our fingering weight yarn. This is a pattern I made with Muse. A few more that I would recommend are Find Your Fade, which is a larger shawl where you're gradating between colors. So if you have multiple sock yarns that kind of color coordinate, that's a great project. We also have Wild Flora. I would check that one out. And then the color shifting shawl is another one of those that uses multiple yarns, but fewer of them, and it's a little bit smaller. So depending upon what you have in your stash and what you're looking to do, we have a bunch. What you can do on our website is in the pattern section, you can sort by either the yarn family, and it will tell you the patterns that we have in Hawthorne or Muse, or you can sort by weight. So you can just do fingering weight, and it will populate all the fingering weight patterns that we have. So you can browse them and pick which ones look good. We also have, even though this is a luxury collection, you can knit these patterns in non-luxury yarns as long as the characteristics are sort of similar. So I believe that this foxglove scarf looks like it's in gloss fingering. I think it's in gloss, but whether it's fingering or not, that's a really lovely one. It's got a really subtle stitch pattern, super classic. So you can just do a lot of different accessories. I would recommend shawls for sure, and hats and scarves for sock yarn. Yeah. And then somebody else is asking, Jamie is asking, I have a hat pattern that calls for a fingering weight yarn held double. It's a winter cap for a child. Do you have yarn from KP that you would recommend using? And KP is, again, Knit Picks. So you can find that on the website. Lee, what do you think? I think...
I mean, basically any of our yarns, but do a gauge swatch first, because I found that like Hawthorne held double knits up quite a bit heavier than like Stroll held double, for example.
Yes.
Because a minor difference in weight is going to be exaggerated once you start holding it double or triple, then the difference becomes greater. I really like Hawthorne held double. I like Hawthorne in general, but it's not for everyone because it's not.
Yeah, especially for kiddos. I think I would probably go towards Stroll. It is a super soft merino with nylon, so you can wash it. And they come in smaller 50-gram skeins rather than 100 grams. So with a kid's hat, you probably won't need that much yardage. So I would go with something maybe along those lines.
Stroll is going to be the best fit because it's, like you said, machine washable, but very soft.
Right.
It's head and forehead.
We also have, if you want to go with our luxury theme, we have Capretta, which is a cashmere nylon blend. So it's machine washable, it's fingering weight, very similar to Stroll, but like just a little bit fancier, and comes in different colors. So it's also look at your color palette and decide what you want to do, for sure. We have a few more patterns from our Serendipity collection, which remember, we're giving away 4 copies, so comment and ask questions. We would love to answer your questions. The last few that we have are all accessories, and this is one of my favorites. It's the blustery cowl in Gloss CK, and I love this orange. I see it everywhere right now. It's matching the tree outside of my window. It's the perfect time of year for this super nice, like burnt orange. Very lovely. It wears beautifully. This is another great example of a quick gift that you could make for somebody because it's fairly small and portable and easy to match whoever you're gift knitting for, whatever their wardrobe looks like. So you could go with a much brighter color or go more autumnal like this one is. And it's a really simple repeat. It's gorgeous. And then one of my favorites is this bright green hat and mitten set. Lee, do you want to talk about this one?
I love this color so much, this yarn. So it's a really easy pattern. It's good for kind of beginner, or if you want something simple. It's just a twisted rib, but the ribs kind of end at different places. It's called equalization. So it's based on an equalizer, like
You're right, like a music.
Like a music equalizer. Yeah. So it's just this really simple, like reverse stockinette stitch background with twisted stitch ribbing that ends in different places. And so it's very easy to make, but it has a really cool effect with that texture, the twisted rib popping off the background. And then it looks beautiful in that yarn and that color, but use whatever color you want. I would use this color personally.
Oh, you would. I can see on your sweater right now you would use
really
this
good
color.
with my hair. Those two colors. Yes. All over.
City Tweed is absolutely lovely, and it's super wearable. It's very cozy, and you also get the Fingerless Mitten Set, and I like that it's a reverse stockinette is on the palm, so it's even softer inside because you've got the flat side of the stockinette against your actual skin. And they're just a great length. You can also fold them back, which is what I do on my dog walks in the morning, so it makes your fingers even more free. Or I like to layer a pair of like commercial mittens underneath, and so this is just an extra warm layer on the back of your hand where it gets coldest, in between your wrist where it gaps underneath your jackets, or at least it does for me all the time. Yeah, and then we have one last pair of super pretty mittens. And these I think of as also just super great gifts because they've got this really nice band detail and a button. So it just makes it feel a little bit fancier. It dresses up an outfit. You can make them in black, so they're super classic looking. Which ones are these? Are called the Piccolo Fingerless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got really nice detail.
A bit more complex than normal fingerless gloves because they actually have all the little fingers, but you don't have to work the entire finger all the way up to the top, so it's quicker to knit that way.
Right, and I love that the thumb has this very lovely lace detail right here.
Yeah, and that's the shaping is
is
with the lace detail. Yeah, so it's kind of a hidden lace shaping.
Oh, you're right. That's so clever. Usually you get the shaping around here. That's typically how I've knit my glove, but I love that it's here because it doesn't distract. Like this is a very smooth area, so you don't get those increased stitches here. Oh, it's nice. I like these a lot. They're lovely. So that was the last pattern. There's one missing that I did not grab from the office, and that was there's a shell tank in Luminance, which is our 100% silk yarn, and so lovely. And also, because it's got lace and it's a shell, it's very breathable, but also again layering. So all of these pieces from the Serendipity collection are perfect for layering. A lot of them are great for gift knitting or knitting for yourself. They're in luxury yarns, so they're a little bit fancier in terms of the fibers there, but most of these are actually very, I would say, not beginner friendly, but intermediate. Like it's much easier to accomplish in a very short amount of time. They're not, I wouldn't say any of these were very complex or advanced.
A lot of them have lace patterns, but it's usually like pretty simple repeats where if you're new to lace, you can kind of get the hang of it, and it's a good kind of more intro to lace. Yeah. There's also the socks in the super wide.
Yeah. Oh yes.
That's
also in that eco alpaca. So it was a yarn built for socks, so it's machine washable. It's super cozy. It only comes in bare. So it will make white socks unless you want to dye them, which is super easy. This yarn is the easiest yarn I have ever dyed. So it would be a really great project for somebody who wants to get in and start dabbling with maybe dyeing yarn at home. We have some really great dye on the website and some tutorials. It is the easiest one to try with. I've been doing a lot of that this summer. Yeah. And then, were any of these made in the new the new twill colors? It's not stroll twill, it's twill. And no, none of these were made in the new twill. The way that our design schedule happens is that we get our yarn in a little bit after we send patterns out for each cycle. So these aren't in the new twill. We do have some patterns coming though. And several of these, any of the fingering weight patterns in here, so like these mittens would work beautifully in twill. That would be gorgeous. And any of the fingering weight projects in this collection will be perfect for twill. They would work really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think that's about it for this session. Thank you everybody for joining us. And as a quick reminder, we are giving away 4 copies of this ebook from this collection, Serendipity, that we were showing today. I will be contacting people after this for people who commented. So check your message box and you'll get an ebook copy possibly. In the meantime, before our next broadcast next month, you can see past episodes on our Facebook page. You can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on our website, knitpicks.com, in the Learn tab in the top right. We also have a bi-weekly podcast where you can hear more of Lee and I and Stacy and the Knitpicks team talking about all things yarn and knitting. And if you've got any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, we've got a hotline that you can call into or email us.
The upcoming episode is talking about my favorite thing in the world, color.
Yes, that comes out tomorrow. It's so good.
Talking about color, you can get 20 more minutes of that soon.
Right. And if you can see Lee's sweater, she's deeply into the color game. I love it. So you can catch that. It comes out tomorrow on any of your streaming services. You can also catch past podcast episodes on a streaming service of your choice or on our website. We have them all up there. You can also find us on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook. We have a Facebook group called Together We Knit, where a bunch of people come together and have a really delightful knitting community. And we love to eavesdrop and comment and see what people are working on. So it's like a virtual knitting group. Love it. So until next time, happy knitting. Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, Hannah.
Bye.